So is it just mostly vendors here, or is this, oh, hello, guy from Bloodborne?
And he's the gravedigger. Yeah, I do know.
Yeah.
Not Father Gascoigne, excuse me. I'm sorry. You're talking about in the hub world there. I know who you're talking about. Yeah. Yo, this is Christian from Post. Gehrman. How could I forget that? Yo, what is up, gamers and FPS roguelite fans, and welcome to Game Gems, the show where we check out the cool, smaller, hidden gem video games and give you our initial impressions on them. I am Christian Macias, and joining me today, Peter Hunt Spitek. Today we're checking out Sulfur, the new indie roguelite shooter from Perfect Random. Peter, are you ready for some satanic dungeon crawling?
You know that I am.
By the way, quick disclaimer. I got, when I was capturing this, for some reason, OBS was giving me some trouble, so you're going to notice some frame dips happening. That is not the game's performance. It is, for whatever reason, the OBS update that would cause a few frame dips. I stopped doing that towards the tail end of the video, and wouldn't you know it, NVIDIA Shadowplay, much more smooth for capturing video. FYI.
Gotcha.
Peter, have you heard of Sulfur?
I've seen the logo for it, but I haven't seen any of the actual game going. Walk me through what this is. You said it's a roguelite?
Roguelite, dungeon crawler, FPS shooter, action. The story of the game is that you're a priest chasing a witch out into the forest. You're driving out into the forest. The witch has set fire to your church and killed everyone in it. You crash into a tree, and the witch escapes into a nearby cave. You go in, and a powerful amulet explains that you can kill the witch and bring back your church and its people. Additionally, some kind of sanguine fluid gives the amulet an ability for you to leave your current run and head back to the hub to get better equipment. And then that is the gameplay loop. The story pitch is like a minute max, and you just start playing immediately. You're in it, and this is just me going into a first run.
Okay. So, this the shooting in this, are you going to end up finding more weapons, or is it just this one sort of gun that you end up, I imagine, like augmenting and stuff with different powers and things because it's a roguelite?
This is the first weapon you basically start out with every single run, and the more you use the weapons, or just weapons in general, you rank them up and you unlock this ability slot to. If you're lucky enough to find something out in the world, you can add some kind of modifier to your weapon to give you more damage, or maybe less damage but a higher bullet velocity. Maybe a modifier that lets you do fire damage, etc., etc. The game gets deep. It's simple in terms of it's very simple to pick up and play. But the systems get complex the more you start to learn and engage with them, and then start to, there are vendors, NPCs that you can find, and you can start to mix and match different abilities and cook up a new kind of ability that you can slot into your gun. And yes, there are more guns. I'll find one, I think in this run a bit later on, but they get kind of crazy. The game kind of goes pretty deep. Even just aesthetically, it's not just the caves, it gets deeper than that. But it is a very hard game. If you've played something maybe like a Hades, if you remember the early Hades runs where you're kind of dying more frequently because you're just not very powered up, this is the same way. But it is a very chill out game where I thought I would play an hour maybe of the game, kind of get a feel for it, and very quickly it's 2 hours had gone by.
Sure.
Here we are going deeper. This is the second area we're going into. You can kind of see the caves have 7 stages, if you will.
So is that the caves are World 1, and then you get further, and then that's World 2, or?
Exactly. I will not say how deep it goes, because I also don't know how deep it goes, but I do know.
Sure.
It does get very interesting. If you've seen the trailer for Sulfur, you've seen kind of some snippets of what the game eventually turns into. You can kind of break the game if you have the right combination of abilities. Here I am finding a diving fin, adding it to my little guy, a little priest.
I always love when games give you an inventory stuff to manage, and some things are bigger. It's kind of like Resident Evil 4 style, inventory management system. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Some of the healing items you can find out in the game are pretty in the inventory, pretty big. So you have to like rotate them a little bit if you got a bunch of stuff. Here's me finding a broken cell phone that I know you can pick up if you find it fixed. Somebody killed him. But also this chest I found, and I tested it out. I believe this chest is also out in the hub world. So if you have stuff that you don't want in your inventory on the run, you can put it in there, and in the hub world, pick it back up.
That's convenient. So you said this is a roguelite. So I'm imagining that you're getting upgrades in between runs and stuff like that. Is that accurate? Would you say?
So if you've noticed, some of the enemies I've killed drop some coins. And then those coins are used to go to the vendors and pick up stuff to make yourself stronger before you go back into runs. And there you go. I picked up a brain from one of the creatures that I've killed, and you can sell some of the things you pick up to vendors, and some of them are worth a lot of money.
Gotcha.
That is how I ended up affording a lot of the upgrades that I've found, is just by selling a bunch of stuff that I've found out in the dungeon, if you will. Like this old vintage wine.
Oh. So... what exactly then is lost when you die? Is it your inventory and your build, or like if you put those things in that chest, like are those gone as well, or if they're in the chest they stay, kind of like in Majora's Mask, or how does that all work?
You pretty much lose everything. You pretty much have to start from scratch. The game's a little bit generous. Like if you do die, there's a church collection box you can open, and it'll give you some money back, which is nice. You can get a leg up on the run, but the goal is to get strong enough in one run to escape during your run back to the hub, because you can leave whenever if you have your amulet powered up. Here's me ranking up my gun. Going back and then just depositing stuff. Setting yourself up for success on future runs, and eventually you get to a spot where you can start upgrading, decrease your chances of dying, and then that becomes the sort of gameplay loop where you set yourself up for success and don't die, and then so you don't have to start from scratch every single run.
Yeah. So I saw you combined something with your gun. Is that how the upgrades work in the game? You find different. That's how it goes.
Once you upgrade a gun to a level, you unlock an enchantment slot for that gun. Every single level is another enchantment slot, and so I found one enchantment. I just threw it on there. It gave me, I think, minus 10% damage, but I get plus 100% bullet velocity. So it works out for stuff with a bit closer range. And here I am cooking. The only recipes I've really found are these kind of mushroom skewers, and it requires a stick to cook them.
Gotcha. Which it looks like you have.
I did.
And so I imagine this increases your health or restores health or something like that?
And the thing about health is that it's not instant. You get X amount of health initially when you eat something, and then it's a certain percentage over time for a certain amount of seconds. And so you want to be eating before you enter the next room, because if you don't, you can kind of screw yourself by having a bunch of enemies kind of shoot at you. Luckily,
Can I ask?
I came with a grenade this run. Found a little crack in the wall.
Oh.
A little secret.
Ooh, that's kind of fun. You said, since this is a roguelite rather, are the levels randomly generated, or are they
so not procedural, but they are randomly generated. The kind of hook is, you understand the layout of the room that you're in, and I got shot by like a poison arrow, so I'm taking damage over time here, trying to minimize that. And then you'll see like chests around the environment, and those are always going to be in different spots. Sometimes a room will have nothing, sometimes they'll have like 2 or 3 chests. It's all randomized in that regard.
Got it. Can I ask too, like you've been encountering some enemies who are like cowering in fear, like sometimes you go into a full room of enemies like that. Is there a rhyme or reason to when they do that, or have you noticed anything with that?
I think it's only the men that are attacking me in this cave. As far as I've gathered, those are the women that just kind of of this whatever tribe or people who are not attacking me back. So I didn't shoot or kill them because I didn't feel like I needed to. Maybe if you were heartless, Peter, you could have,
kind of an Anakin Skywalker move, not just the men, but the women and children as well, too, you know?
And this is kind of me looking at what ammo types there were and seeing how much money I needed to afford a second gun here. And I realized, wait a minute, we got tons of stuff to sell.
Sell this old wine.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and that old wine was pretty valuable, too.
Yep, absolutely. I went from having, what, like $100-something to like over 2,000 coins. Excuse me, not dollars. There we go.
And then so ammo, like it seems you have to have, you know, ammo for your weapons. Are you picking that up pretty frequently, or do you have to really conserve your shots?
You got to check out the ammo type, because I needed 5.56 ammo for this gun, and then 9mm for my original, and it's sort of hard to come by. Some runs I've messed up and did not buy enough ammo, so I'm having to switch to like only back to my single gun, even though my secondary gun is more powerful. You got to keep an eye on it. Other times you do find ammo, but it's for like the wrong gun type. So again, the loop is like, if you do find ammo, hopefully you've escaped and dumped it into a chest, so that if you set yourself up for success, you can have a bunch of ammo stored for future runs. And here I am going back to the hub world. You get a look at that right now.
Have we seen the hub world, or was like that that guy you were buying guns for? Is he just like randomly in the levels, you know?
Randomly inserted NPC into the level. We're seeing the hub world for the very first time. We're back at the church.
Ooh,
dude, this game's
was
cozy.
not at all what I was expecting. Yeah. To sort of look like. So is it just mostly vendors here, or is this? Oh, hello, guy from Bloodborne.
And he's the gravedigger. Yeah, I do know.
Yeah.
Not Father Gascoigne. Excuse me. I'm sorry. You're talking about in the hub world there. I know who you're talking about. Yeah. Yo, this is Christian from Post. Gehrman. How could I forget that? Yeah, dude. So here's the collection box. Since I've escaped, there's nothing in there. But if you do die, there's usually something in the collection box. And sort of the hub world gets bigger, I'll say. Sort of the more you progress into the game, sometimes new vendors will get added. I think it expands a little bit. And from what I've understood is that you can sort of go into other areas. I will not say much more there.
So you just fixed your weapon. Does it just like break a little bit every single time you fire in the same way that like games like Fallout like that? That's what it makes me think of.
Mm-hmm. Not quite Breath of the Wild, but there is slight weapon degradation as well as armor degradation as well. But I haven't reached a point where things are breaking routinely. This is more preventative, just because why not? I'm out in the hub world and it was like $50 for this small repair kit for my one gun, so it was future-proofing.
Yeah.
But even on my longer runs, I haven't had an issue where things broke during a run.
So you found this in that secret room. What is that? That's like a scroll of something?
It's an Ember Scroll, which allows, if you had an enchantment slot available, you can put it to your gun, and now you have a chance to do fire damage. And I won't show this in this video, but upstairs there's a second vendor who lets you combine scrolls. So you could do here I am. You can do a double fire damage, or you can mix elemental damages if you had different element types.
Oh, that's kind of cool. But is it usually only like one slot for? Is it like one slot for per weapon?
Per rank, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, okay, that does. And you just level up your weapons by just shooting them.
Exactly, or getting kills. Excuse me, by getting kills with them.
Yeah. So then also, sorry, I'm not trying to just like hit you with like question after question.
Please.
So in returning to the depths here, is it do you have to restart from the beginning when you go to the hub world?
It restarts the run, so that is the risk reward. But if you've powered up enough, the earlier levels should be a lot easier now, because technically I am stronger than when I first entered it.
Yeah.
But dog, I'm not gonna lie to you, some rooms kind of tough early on. This is me playing maybe between hour 2 and hour 3. I've had some stuff, and I've gotten used to some of the systems. Like here I am, like I've got like a lot of healing items. My weapons are not decent. They're not super strong, but they are stronger than base. And I still have trouble in some rooms because the enemies get harder, as you'll see in a little bit.
Okay. Oh, and I was gonna ask too about like, okay, so if you run out of ammo, what do you do? Just I guess just use the katana.
Yes. The game is sort of generous enough where if you are kind of low on ammo, it'll throw you some 9mm for your original gun. At least that's how it was in my game when I was running out of ammo. You know, one enemy type gave me some, and it was enough to clear the next like a room or two.
Sure.
I haven't had to resort to just katana, luckily.
Got it. I like this art style, and I like the way that it the sprites are kind of like always
2D?
facing you. That's very like it's very very old school Doom, you know.
And that's what they're going for. They're going for the old school dungeon crawler, Doom shooter, boomer shooter. I don't know if you will.
And I do. Certainly I do.
These are the frame dips I'm talking about a little bit, but again, discovered
That's OBS.
It was
that's
literally
not the game.
just OBS.
Got it. Okay. I also like the way, and this is a small detail, that when you shoot enemies, their sprite has like a hole in it.
Yes, yeah. Depending on where the bullet kind of generally lands, it'll have like a bullet hole in it, and I don't do that in this run, but I've done it where like, okay, well, what happens if you take a katana to a dead body and you can just absolutely gut them? And sometimes you
I
do
bet
get
it looks a lot like this room.
Yeah, and sometimes you get additional things back from them, like an extra spleen or something.
Oh, okay, interesting. So in terms of enemy variety, I mean, it seems like it's kind of a new-ish enemy that we haven't seen before. Is there a lot, or does it? I guess this whole area seems to be actually a little new.
Yeah. By the way, these guys are rough to take on. Something that you don't see a lot in the current run that I recorded is sometimes the standard enemy will be glowing with something. Sometimes it's red, which means that they will self-detonate if they get too close. Sometimes it's something like a green, which could mean either they have like some kind of poison attribute, or they're actually secretly a different enemy. And if you attack them, they transform into a stronger enemy. And sometimes it's often those kind of voodoo guys who will start shooting back at you with a gun. And those are tricky to get kind of hit back, because if you've hit the green guy first, if you will, you now have somebody shooting at you in a room full of smaller NPCs who are also jumping you. So you have to manage who you're attacking first often. And by the way, one of the modifiers I added with this little pistol here is that I can't aim anymore. It's stronger, but I can no longer right click to aim.
Yeah. How important is that? I mean, it seems like the reticle is relatively small when you're just sort of standing here, but is that a pretty big trade-off, you think?
It is, and your accuracy kind of depletes, or is worse, obviously, the further out you are. But also, as you move, again, like any standard shooter, you're less accurate as you're moving. So shooting's a lot trickier. And
sure. Is this only on PC, or is this looks perfect for consoles as well?
I believe it's also coming to Switch, Xbox One. I know, dog. Xbox Series X and S, and then PS4, PS5.
Okay, cool. So it's kind of everywhere then.
Consoles there.
Gotcha. And is this the full release, or is this any sort of like early access?
1.0 coming out October 28th, which I think is when this video is going out. So have at it.
Sweet. Now, can I ask? Sorry, I saw you swipe your katana. Dang, this room is.
I know, dog.
It's like Last of Us 2 in here. You swiped at that ghost with a katana. Did you miss him, or did you not? Like, does that not deal damage to a ghost?
No, it should. I believe he was already dead, or I think it was at that point I wasn't close enough.
Oh, okay.
Proximity matters, dog.
Gotcha. So what is it? What is this? Is this the witch you were chasing?
This is a wise old woman. No, not the witch.
Got it.
A little story time, Peter. You like lore? You a big fan
I do
of lore?
like lore. I'm a lore fan. Is there a lot of lore in this game?
Well, a decent little amount. It is pretty narrative driven, and I love the writing for the dialogue choices. They're usually pretty funny. I don't show off a lot of it here, but with this wise old woman, you get maybe a little bit of it. feel free, come inside, come inside. Have you eaten?
Oh, that's probably not good, huh? It's not great, actually.
Flashbacks to the church, dog.
Oh, I see what's going on here.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, traumatic flashback.
And so every sort of major biome will have like a midway point for you to charge up your amulet. And I'm pretty low health, so I decide I gotta end the run right here.
Okay.
Yep.
So you will by going back to the hub world, you willingly end your run as a way to power up and restart to hopefully be able to get further than you did the last time.
Exactly. And that's the gameplay loop.
Gotcha.
This game, surprisingly, pretty hard. Simple to pick up, but very complex.
Gotcha. So, but then upon death, do you lose everything that's... do you lose just fully everything? Or is stuff that you have like in your chest here, does that stay?
Everything that is not in the chest is lost.
Okay. So that's, high stakes, you know?
High stakes. And that, Peter, was Sulfur.
Well, thanks for showing me, man.
Absolutely. That is this week's Game Gems. Hashtag TGGG. If anyone's doing hashtags out there, let us know what you think of Sulfur down below. For all things dungeon crawler or roguelite shooter, make sure you stick with the gamer. And until next time, here's hoping Liverpool beats Arsenal at the weekend. Am I right?